Okay, so today I want to talk about bootstrapping. I'm sure you're wondering, what is bootstrapping? Well, let's see what the interwebs have to say. Investopedia says that bootstrapping is building a company from the ground up with nothing but personal savings and, with luck, the cash coming in from first sales. Well, that is one definition, and I'm sure there are many others. But my experience with bootstrapping, I've had a personal experience with bootstrapping because, as I shared in one of my previous videos, when I started Shailene, I did not have a lot of startup capital. All I had was my Peace Corps readjustment allowance, and I used that to invest in Shailene. And so I did not get significant capital into Shailene until about 7 years in as an entrepreneur. So what did I do all this time? How was I growing the business? Bootstrapping. That's how. I was using bootstrapping. I was using uh, bartering with other people, uh, tapping into free resources as often as I could because I just did not have that startup capital. And I'm sure you know this, but typically, most women, and honestly, most Black women, do not have access to the capital that they need to grow their business. And I was in that bucket. I was in that demographic. And so I had to get super creative. I had to max my own resources, so the little money that I had. And then, of course, I tapped into as many pro bono resources as I could. Another way that I used to get money into Shailene was working several jobs. So when I first moved to DC, I got a job as a program research analyst assistant. I can't even remember the exact title. But anyway, I was low on the totem pole and not making a lot of money for a contractor of the US Agency for International Development, USCID. And so the money I got from that, I would use to pay my bills. And then I would take whatever extra funds I had and invest that in Shailene. I would also do a lot of different side gigs, like on the weekend, whether it was working an event, whether it was working at a restaurant. I got a job as a hostess. And I essentially just used, you know, as much as I could in terms of getting side gigs, different jobs, moonlighting to be able to get the money I needed to invest in Shailene. So, in order to be successful at bootstrapping, there are a couple of things that you need to be able to do. One, you need to be flexible, you need to be creative, you need to be willing to trade anything. Well, within good reason, right? In my case, some of the things that I would do when I was in the place of having to bootstrap to grow my business is I would barter services. So for example, I write, I can pull proposals together. Someone else in my network who's really good at web developing or design work, I would barter my writing skills and do a writing project for them, and they would do a design project for me. The other thing I often did was I would take on gig work. So even before the whole gig economy, now we have apps that can allow us to do a bunch of different tasks to make money. Well, I would do the same thing. I would sign up for alerts and I would do events. So be like a person who would go and be a server at an event, anything to bring in extra cash that I could then use for my business. The other thing is I just ask people to do things for free. I mean, just ask. People will say no. If I knew someone who had a certain skill set that I needed, I would just say, hey, I'm trying to do this. Would you be willing to give me a few pro bono hours? And the great thing is, there are actually a lot of different resources that you can tap into, like, for example, the SBA SCORE program. That's a program where retired executives will give you pro bono hours and they'll help you with anything that you need in terms of being able to build and grow your business. So check out what sort of resources you can tap into locally, whether it's from local government, whether it's federal government, or even if it is through a school program. I know at Georgetown University, for example, there is an entrepreneurship club, and students can volunteer their time for with small businesses in the area. So these are the keys to successfully bootstrapping, right? You see what resources and what skills you can offer people in exchange for what skills and resources they can offer you back. You try to get as much pro bono resources as you can. And then, of course, gig economy, take on, gigs here and there that can bring in money so that you can invest it in your business. And that's how you bootstrap. So here's the thing. You do not want to be bootstrapping the entire life of your business. Bootstrapping is a means to an end. Eventually, you want to be able to run your business based on the revenue and the profits that are generated from your business. And so I want to make sure you know that bootstrapping is a way of getting started, it's a way of launching, but you shouldn't be building a business based on bootstrapping practices or principles. You want to get to a place where your business is sustainable, financially sustainable, and is profitable. If you like this video, please comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and also share it with your friends.